Here are a bunch of things you guys probably didn't know. In today's video, thank you guys so much. Yeah, basically, 654 views. Thank you guys. And today, we're gonna look at
25 ways to ruin your friend's server in Minecraft.
Okay, so let's see what this has to do with it.
When you join a multiplayer server, the door gets open to all kinds of pranks, traps, and mayhem. So today, we're looking at the top ways to mess with your friends and your enemies on the realm. And hey, YouTube tells me the fastest anyone's ever subscribed to the channel is 2 seconds flat. But I think we could do better.
2 seconds? That's interesting.
So to beat that record, speed run to that red sub button below. It's free and it helps out a ton. Number 1. Let me know if this has happened to you. You're playing on an SMP with friends, each of you making progress at the same time, until one of you gets a bit too eager and then slays the dragon by themselves. It's a frustrating realization for sure. So to keep that final destination off limits, our solution comes down to dripstone. By dropping a couple of these from a tall height, we guarantee that whoever goes through the portal next is in for a short trip. And folks, this will even work regardless of their armor, making it a perfect addition for your next manhunt trap. Number 2. Finding diamonds in Minecraft should be cause for celebration. But with a setup like this, that excitement is short-lived. See, if you really want to prank your friends on the server, then why not head down to the mines and booby trap the various ores? All it takes is an observer angled the right way, we can use that block update to end their excursion. Really, it's that simple to pull off. And with a quick fuse, there'll be nothing more than a pile of items before they could even finish counting their diamonds. Number 3. We all know that one person on the server who has way too many animals at the farm. And at this point, it's starting to seem like a problem. So to cut that back and give them a lesson on the importance of free range, why don't we do them a favor and continue to breed those animals? See, by overcrowding their pig pen, we guarantee that at a certain point, the entity cramming kicks in and that ruins their fun. Which, from there, all it takes is one misstep, and anyone trying to clean up the problem will get squished just the same. Number 4. Trapping your friends in Minecraft is a real joy. But in a game where even bedrock could be destroyed, how do you keep them from breaking out? Well, according to the evil masterminds of the community, we've got a solution like this to do the trick. See, when we lay it out like such, even our best tools are practically useless to bust us out. Or, for an even better trap, why not follow what Eagle Eye 621 said and use glitched end crystals for a truly inescapable plan? And I'm guessing your friend gives up on escaping before any of these give out. Number 5. Now, we're all well and familiar with the concept of creeper holes. And while these eyesores typically get filled in, some players aren't as polite, and that lack of manners can lead to something of an infestation. So to teach the server a lesson on the importance of filling in their hollow holes, why don't we try something like this? Simply remove the blocks underneath the surface and then cover it up with topsoil. Then, after enough time, the mobs will spawn and give whoever cleans them up quite the startle. And maybe next time they'll fill in their mistakes when they're asked to. Number 6. The 1.18 update is set to bring a ton of new features to Minecraft's base game, and the skulk sensor is chief among those. But what could be a useful tool for redstone can just as easily be a weapon, and these bombs show as much. See, by laying out our sensors on either end of this activator rail, we make this trap unbreakable, since if they take out any of the blocks nearby, the sounds trigger the pulse and it starts the explosion. And at that point, they might as well relocate, since there's really only one way to get rid of it. Number 7. Falling into water is a staple of Minecraft safety, which means no one will expect their water chute to be a kill chamber instead. And while we've done this with Lapis in the past, I think this is even better. See, with vertical redstone, we can have them fall through a tripwire and then change our water drop into a lava one instead, causing both a sudden death and a loss of items. And since we use the block updates caused by a moving wall with a piston, the redstone to do this is instantaneous, meaning they'll be none the wiser for what's in store. Number 8. Now, by themselves, these zombies are much of a pain, but packing a whole bunch of them, we've got something even scarier, lag. And that, folks, is the last thing you want on a server. So to give your friends a tough time, why don't we use an undead union of our own? After grabbing a bunch of zombies, lay down a pile of items, and then wait for them to pick it up. And from there, once their hands are stuffed, those suckers aren't going to despawn, giving us the mobile lag machine to place right inside your friend's base. Number 9. Let's be honest, no one likes waiting for crops to grow. And sometimes that waiting game could feel like forever. But in this case, it's actually true. See, while our friend wasn't looking, we snuck in and placed string tripwire along the top of their bamboo and sugarcane, which, when standing back here, is an almost imperceptible change. But it means that the crops cannot grow past that point. I mean, if you do this inside the mechanics of a redstone farm, they'll be totally confused as to why it stopped working, and now they'll be buying all their bamboo from you. Number 10. The best place to put a trap is where you'd least expect it. And I don't know about you, but I generally don't plan on my ladder being the death of me. But after seeing this, I'll have to reconsider. Now, the setup here is actually quite simple, but I love the execution. The idea is that our victim climbs up their ladder, flips the trapdoor to exit, and then that leads to a piston to shift the wall and break all of their ladders. From there, we drop them into lava, TNT, or just about anything else to finish the job, and it's as simple as that. Number 11. Everyone knows that when you break all the logs in a tree, the leaves should disappear. But that doesn't explain why these are still left standing hours after the trunk. And no, this doesn't have anything to do with update suppression or changing the random tick speed, but rather, we just replace the leaves on our friends' trees with ones of our own. Then, once we place them back down, these decoration blocks can no longer despawn over time, which not only gives them an eyesore, but it also guarantees a couple of chores for them to clean up. And let's hope they have a good pair of shears. Number 12. Explore in the end can be a treacherous experience, and usually we like to mitigate the risk when we can. But if you're sick of your friends raiding the end islands before you can, this might be the solution. As you'll notice, every time we go through the gateway to the outer end, we always land at the same block, which means we can plant a trap like so to guarantee any future visitors have a bad time. And furthermore, using TNT minecarts like this will make this whole thing explode faster than you could possibly subscribe to the channel, which pretty much guarantees a sudden death. Number 13. Chickens can be pretty annoying. After all, they keep laying eggs, so usually we just end up with way more of these items than we need. But in this case, we can use that to our advantage. See, for our master plan, all we need to do is load up a bunch of chickens on a hopper like so, and then every time they lay an egg, it's fired out of a dispenser in a hidden location. Place this at your friend's base, and before they know it, they'll be inundated with baby chickens, all the while confused about where they came from. Number 14. Scaffolding is a pretty useful tool.
Yeah,
and a big part of that is how easy it is to clean up. But as someone pointed out, that speed can just as easily be turned to the dark side. As is, if we prep something dangerous like a lava bucket or an anvil up top, then when your friend comes by to break it, they'll be treated to a nasty surprise from above. And the best part, they can't even reasonably build up the blocks to stop it. So while they try and save their stuff, you can sit back and enjoy the show. Number 15.
Yeah, I guess
Anvils
so.
are great, but they can quickly get problematic. And I think we're all familiar with this message that the cost has gotten too expensive. It's a rough sight for sure, but one we can use to prank our friends. Now, if your friend is reckless enough to leave their tools lying about in a chest or an item frame, then that's your perfect opportunity. In that case, we grab the tools and then change them up a bunch to drag up the costs. Then, when done, you make it look like the original, and they'll be quite surprised next time they go to repair and they can't even do it. Number 16. When you're playing on a server, lag is a common frustration, and unfortunately, some of us experience it more than others. So if you want to get back at that friend with high-speed internet, this door is the perfect prank. Now, the mechanics at play are fairly simple. All that's happening is that once they stand on the pressure plate, it only opens once they step off. And as some of us know, this is indistinguishable from a laggy server connection, meaning they'll be stuck doing this little shuffle back and forth, and they'll never be able to get inside. Number 17. Truth be told, pranks in Minecraft are a lot easier than in real life. But that doesn't mean there isn't any overlap, and this is a great mix of the two. See, in the real world, we usually place a water cup on top of a door, but here, we could use TNT instead. And after aligning the minecarts along a chest, we can balance that one pixel just right to keep it steady until someone comes. And then, when they open the door to step in, they'll knock the minecarts onto the powered rail, and the rest is history. Number 18. Now, by all accounts, armor stands seem pretty harmless. After all, they don't have arms, so what's the worst they can do? Well, according to channels like the Horizon, quite a lot actually. Since we can overlap these entities into the same block, we can get a lot of lag in a small footprint. Meaning, after getting enough of these into position, the game's ticks per seconds will slow way down. And then, after dropping these onto a fence with water, the lag gets even worse. At that point, we continue to drop the TPS and make the server borderline unplayable. Number 19. At some point, we've all known someone who just cuts down every single tree in sight. And of course, they never replant them either, which leads to the base looking barren and empty. So to prevent against that, let's take after this Reddit user and stick a surprise in our trees. With this, they can't see the trap, but sure enough, as soon as they chop down all the logs, they'll be treated to quite a few anvils from the sky. Then that way, even if they steal your oak, you can just grab it up with the rest of their items. Number 20. Mob farms are a great asset to have, and typically whoever scores a spawner first winds up the richest player on the server. So if you're starting to get jealous of your friend's good fortune, this might solve that imbalance. The solution is just as simple as switching out the blocks in their floor to half slabs of the same type. With that little change, they'll have a hard time getting any more monsters to spawn. And the best part is that using a block like cobblestone makes this a tough prank to even recognize, leaving them both confused and poor. Number 21. Nothing beats the comfort of your own bed, but with a machine like this, we can turn those sweet dreams into straight up nightmare fuel. And to set it up, we've got a couple of different options, but all of which are based around a manipulation of the respawn mechanics to make sure that our friends always wake up in a lava bath. So while prisons like Pandora's Vault are a lot more flashy, this cuts down to the basics and works just the same. So I'd suggest checking your next bed very carefully, because even if there's no monster underneath, this still fits that bill. Number 22. Moss seems like a pretty harmless block, but add in some bone meal and that bit of vegetation can turn into serious devastation. And that's what we're focusing on today. As you'll see, because this block is so good at recruiting, we can wreak some serious havoc at the different bases on the server. And again, the cost is as cheap as a few stacks of bone meal, making this really easy to pull off. So while the stone hoe will make the cleanup quick, it still takes a lot of work to put back to normal. Now honestly, I think it looks quite nice. Nice. Number 23. Once you've branded yourself as the prankster, it's hard to get people to trust you, which is usually a shame, but today we can use that to our advantage. Because even if your friend doesn't trust a random pressure plate, we can still use that as a trigger for our trap. Since once they break the pressure plate, it then goes down into a hopper system and then sets off a comparator to explode our TNT minecarts, which is a fantastic reverse card in my eyes. And it's something that can work particularly well in a predetermined desert temple, just saying. Number 24. If you've messed around with gaming glitches, you're probably familiar with the concept of a soft lock. That is, where the game is still playable, but the player can't make any more progress. And while that's usually a sign of lackluster playtesting, today we'll be using it for quite the prank. Now, pulling this off might be tricky, but the idea hinges around getting your friend to set their spawn in a bed that's underneath the end portal, which after that means they can only respawn in the end dimension, with no hopes of escape. And I think that fits our soft lock criteria. Number 25. Falling into the void is a bad time. Everyone knows that. But while you expect that hazard in the end, the overall is a different story. Because after seeing RecRap's video on the subject, this plan just might come into fruition. Now, sure, the time that it takes to break all the bedrock is a big investment. And to commit to pulling this off, you really need to hold a grudge. But come on, imagine your friend's reaction when they not only fall when they least expect it, but they also lose all their items in the void as well. It's just too perfect. And with that, folks, please don't get banned and have a good one, alright?
Okay, that was amazing. Let's do...
7 years ago, Notch sold Minecraft, but before he left, he added several secret things into the game. In this video, I'll go over 25 of them, and I guarantee you that you didn't know these existed.
Okay, let's see.
Every April Fool's, Notch had something up his sleeve. In 2010, he announced Minecraft 4D. In 2011, he added a locked chest into the game. In 2012, Notch created a hoax website for a new game titled Mars Effect. In 2013, he added a banner for Minecraft 2.0, a pink wither, a talking block of coal, a redstone silverfish, and a new super hostile game mode. The following year, Notch left Mojang. Number 2. Before crafting tables were added, you could access the 3x3 grid just by pressing B. The first ever crafting recipe was turning an apple into an arrow. But then crafting tables were added, and now pressing B does absolutely nothing. Actually, I lied. Mojang never added crafting tables. They added a block called Workbench. Yeah, that's what crafting tables were called at first. But fortunately, in beta, Notch renamed the Workbench to crafting table. Back in Minecraft InfDev, there used to be brick pyramids that would naturally generate. Their purpose? A way of obtaining bricks, as there was no other way to get them. Since the height limit at the time was only 64 and ground level was 32, the pyramid itself was just 32 blocks high. That's nothing compared to my pyramid. A full brick pyramid would contain over 43,000 brick blocks. They were even rarer than the current rarest structure. Mansions, however, aren't solid. They contain dozens of different rooms, 53 types to be exact, which means all mansions are missing some of them. But the most interesting rooms are the secret rooms, such as X Room, Spider Room, Fake Ant Portal Room, Obsidian Room, Birch Pillar Room, Clean Chest Room, Lava Room, and Attic Room, with the X Room being the most common and the Lava Room being the rarest. Number 5. In Java Edition, the patterns of bedrock are consistent in all worlds regardless of the seed. So at 0, you'll find this bedrock layout. At 100, you'll find this one. In 1.18, the world will be deeper. So the bedrock layer will be at minus 64. Because of this, in all pre-existing chunks, bedrock will fill everything between Y0 and Y minus 64. That way, you won't accidentally fall into the void when mining. If you're in a village during the night, you might witness groups of zombies spawning near the edge of the village. The amount depends entirely on how many villagers there are. Sieges can happen anywhere except for the mushroom biome. Zombies spawned in the siege are always normal zombies, never zombie villagers, husks, or drowned. But sieges are an exclusive Java Edition feature, another reason why Java is superior. August 20th, 2009, Notch decided to add pigs into Minecraft, but he messed up, and this is what showed up on the screen. He said, "It looks creepier when animated. I'll keep it for a creepy creature." And the following month, Minecraft welcomed a brand new mob, creepers. One secret thing Notch added is that if a creeper explodes while having a potion effect, it'll leave behind an area effect.
Yeah, I have made that mistake before.
Next time you're in spectator mode, try clicking on a mob. You'll get their vision and see everything the mob sees. This works for all kinds of entities, not just mobs. Some mobs have special vision effects. Creepers have pixelated and green-tinted vision, Endermen see inverted colors, and spiders have quintuple vision, slight blurring, and high FOV. Pressing F4 removes the effect, and your vision will return back to normal. If you were to play Minecraft in Beta 1.9, you might come across two glass pillars spanning into the sky. This structure was super rare, therefore not many players found it. So why were there two seemingly random pillars in Minecraft? Well, they used to mark the location of the stronghold, because the Eyes of Ender were not yet added. The few players that did find these pillars thought that it was Herobrine's doing, because at the time, the story of Herobrine was believed to be true. Prior to Minecraft Beta, the Farlands was an area generated at the end of every Minecraft world. But the world didn't end there. If you kept walking, you'd eventually reach Farther Lands, a variation of the Farlands, which was smoother and more stretched out. This area generated about 80 times farther from spawn than the Farlands did, around the vicinity of 1 billion blocks. That's a long walk. One day, the YouTuber Kilo Crazy Man became the first person in the history of Minecraft to reach Farlands by foot. Notch himself was so impressed that he made a $10,000 donation.
Oh wow.
If you knew any of this, good job, but don't celebrate, because you have absolutely no chance on the next ones. Back in Indef, bows used to be more like machine guns. It was around this time that little Dadusak first experienced this wonderful game. If you pressed right click while holding a bow, you'd start shooting arrows like crazy. Actually, at first, you didn't even need a bow to shoot arrows. You could just press tab to shoot them. When the bow was added, the texture looked like this, but Notch changed it to the one we have today. Unfortunately, in pre-release beta, the charging mechanic was added, and that was the end of machine gun bows. Number 15. Splashing an Enderman with a potion of invisibility.
Yeah, I've seen that
However,
before.
you can still see the Enderman's eyes for some reason. This doesn't happen with any other mob. Notch claimed that the Enderman is a, quote, subtle reference to the Slenderman. With their inverted vision, Endermen see cobblestone as endstone, because endstone is literally a yellowish version of cobblestone. The texture of the oak sapling has been changed.
Yeah, I've experienced like all of those textures.
In Infdeath, saplings used to grow into fancy trees, but then Notch changed it back to regular trees. There are actually 15 different variations of saplings. However, most of them have this texture and are inaccessible through normal gameplay. Saplings also require a light level of at least 9 to grow. Personally, I didn't know that. Number 19. Creepers are perhaps the deadliest mob in Minecraft, because they don't make any special sounds. So, putting blast protection on your armor is a choice a lot of players tend to make. But there's another way to deal with creepers, and that is wearing a creeper hat. Detection range of creepers is reduced by 50% when you're wearing their hat. On October 11th, 2010, Notch tweeted, "I'm working on the most unfair mob ever. You will hate the Ghast." Originally, Ghasts used to spawn near nether portals in the overworld. Fortunately, this idea was quickly scratched. Now they can only spawn in basalt deltas, nether wastes, and
I used that. I don't know how that you made that.
Was added. However, they look like snowballs that are set on fire. Currently, there are 167 different ambient sounds in Minecraft. Those are the sounds that play semi-randomly in the background. They are divided into 3 groups: cave, underwater, and nether. If you press F3, you can see the mood. It increases when you're in a cave or a dark place. When it reaches 100, Minecraft makes one of these sounds. That's the random scary noise you hear when mining. Number 22. The Frostwalker enchantment protects you from campfires and magma blocks, which is
I've seen that.
In addition, the ice created from Frostwalker lasts longer during the night because there is no sunlight to melt it. Also, enchanted boots with Frostwalker can be applied on foxes. However, this only works on Bedrock Edition. When first added, Frostwalker used to work on flowing water too. Diamonds were initially called emeralds, until Notch wanted to add the actual emeralds into the game, so he had to change the name. In Indef, diamonds could be obtained by smelting diamond blocks in a furnace. A stack of 100 diamonds could be found in the Indef house chest. Dadusak, what's an Indef house? It was a structure which acted as the starting place when you first spawned in a new world. The Indef house was made of mossy cobblestone with 2 torches and 3 chests containing all items in stacks of 99. Later, the house design was changed to be made out of planks and stone, and the item stacks went from 99 to 100. That's a noticeable change. However, in early Indef, the Indef house was removed. Number 25. If you try to sleep in the nether, you're gonna have a bad time. But for some reason, if you put a villager in the nether,
that's what I've always wondered. Why do villagers
will lie down like there's no tomorrow?
Like
the bed will not explode. At least they don't have to sleep sideways. Yeah, that's what I did in my sideways world. That video is a must watch.
Okay, Thank you guys for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.